planning helps in setting standards for controlling. So, what do you mean by setting standards? Well, planning helps in setting standard means now you can, with planning, you can decide what is the standard output an individual or organization should produce in specific timeline. So understand, setting standard is a benchmark that this much will be the output, minimum output expected. Or I would say fair output expected in a given timeline for an individual or for an organization. So once planning helps in setting this standard output, now manager have a benefit of controlling it in a smoother way. As the standards are set, now management or manager can now actually compare the actual performance with standard performance. So if manager understand that actual performance is higher than the standard performance, he is happy that the organization or employees is on track. But if actual performance is way below the standard performance, then manager steps in and start identifying the results why the actual performance is going down. So now there are a lot of steps managers take to control the deviations created between the standard or set of standard and actual performances. Now these deviations, discrepancies, the reasons are identified. Controlling steps are taken and automatically organization is again bring back to the normal course of action of standard output. Hence, planning helps in controlling and taking necessary actions for deviations occurred in actual performance and standard output. Planning, therefore, is stepping stone or fundamental step or basis for controlling. Planning also helpful in creating discipline in the organization. As everybody knows that this much is the standard output, so everybody should ensure that if I go below, there will be a cross-checking from the manager why the output is less. And there will be strict action or controlling actions being taken in order to ensure that output will be on track. Hence, planning helps in setting standards for controlling. Let us take an example how this planning helps us standard and then it helps us in controlling the organization's goal or efficiency or output of the organization. Let's say I have got an order of 500 shirts to be delivered in 1 month. And I know my team is able to deliver 20 sets or 20 shirts in a day. So in 30 days, they'll be able to make 600 shirts. So I'll be able to deliver my output in time. So 20 shirts in a day. I'm happy even if they make 17 shirts. Because 17 threes are 50. 510 shirts in a month, I'm happy. So even if the efficiency goes below 17, then there is a problem. So on one day, I saw that they were making 20 shirts. Another day, they were making 22 shirts. And then certain days, there are 19 shirts, 18 shirts. So on a week's time, first week's time, they were making 20 shirts per day on an average. Well, the next week, what has happened? On the day 1, they could only make 11 shirts. Day 2, around 9. Then 7. Then again 12. Suddenly, there was an alarming bell in my ears. Boss, we need to make 20 shirts per day and they're just making 10. They are working on 50% of their efficiency. So suddenly there is a gap between standard output and actual performances. So what did I do? I first looked into the things. Okay, what has happened? I understood that half of the staff was coming late to the organization. First, I started controlling. I demanded everyone to be there on time or I'll charge or pay them less salaries. Suddenly, from the 3rd week onwards, everybody was on time and output was again on average of 20 and I could able to deliver. So with standards being set, and since I know that in a day on an average 20 shirts can be made, I now can able to compare and identify the deviations. If there are deviations on a lesser side, obviously I'll have to take some controlling step in order to bring back the organization again to the same output. And hence, what this planning of knowing the standards, planning helps in setting standards for controlling and not letting organization move away from achieving their objectives. In simple words, well, planning helps in setting standard for controlling. Now, with planning, standard output of the employee or of the organization has been set. And actual performances and standard outputs are always being compared. If there are deviations, obviously on a lesser side, then appropriate actions are taken in order to control these deviations. And this deviations gap has been breached. Hence, planning is the basis to control. Not only that, it helps in creating discipline in the organization.